Can you describe your morning schedule? Like how do you, like, when you wake up in the morning, what are the things that you do?
Do you use an alarm to wake up or?
Okay, yes, yes. I'll use an alarm, and if I have a very early meeting, I set 2 alarms. One is usually my phone, and I'll set another alarm across the room, so I don't sleep through.
So do you usually wake up at the first alarm, or is that?
I do, and I hit snooze, and
You-
I've been known to turn it off and not realize I've turned it off.
Okay.
How do you feel when the alarm goes off?
Hmm?
What's your first thought when the alarm goes off?
Hit snooze.
When you hit the snooze, are you consciously saying that I'm going to hit snooze because it's annoying, or are you consciously hitting it because you're like, I just want 5 more minutes?
Both. I mean, it's an annoying sound. I would say the one on the phone is much worse than the one that's across the room.
Can you describe it a little bit more about the annoyance of the sound? Like, why does it annoy you, to hear the sound? Is it like,
Yeah, I mean, it's just an annoying honking sound that you want to stop as soon as you can make it stop. So usually I hit the alarm to turn it off as soon as I can, and then for snooze. And then usually it's just for 10 minutes or whatever, but sometimes I have been known to turn it off completely and not realize I've done that. And then
That's the first one.
then I oversleep.
Okay.
Unless I have set the second alarm as a backup.
Mm-hmm. And what happens if you have overslept? What kind of, when you realize that, oh, I'm late, or what kind of, how do you feel about
it's
it?
frantic. Trying to figure out, okay, how late am I now? What do I have to do? Who do I need to contact to let them know that I'm going to be late? What can I omit from my normal routine to get there as quickly as possible?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's usually, don't forget your phone.
So when you say you hit snooze, but then you get to the second alarm, you're up now. Walk us through what next?
What next?
Yeah.
I'll do I usually go make a cup of coffee, and then while the coffee's brewing, I look to see what messages, do I have anything that's urgent, that's going to require me to get into work or contact someone earlier. How's the day starting? I'll check the weather, see what the weather prediction is, temperature, sort of help. What's my morning look like? I can usually contend with what the rest of the day looks like, but it's what does my morning look like? And I'm usually pretty prepared the evening before. I know what my outfit's going to be, where everything is. My bag's already packed. My lunch is packed. I get my stuff done in the evening.
So that's
the night
routine
before.
for you, to get prepared for the morning, where you get your clothes ready, your lunch for tomorrow is already prepared. You're not preparing it in the morning and looking for an outfit to match and all that.
Nope, all that's done. I'm not a morning person, so I get all my stuff done the night before. So it's really just get up, get ready, do my normal routine of getting the caffeine and checking what does the morning look like with emails, phone calls, and then getting ready. Shower.
What's your drive like? What's your what time you have to go to work and from home to work?
Well, prior to January, I would go into the office sometime between 8:30 and 9 on a routine basis. But a lot of times it would call for early phone calls, and I'd prefer to be in the office for the early global calls. So I would leave earlier.
How much sleep do you need to feel your best?
Between 7 and 8 hours.
How much sleep do you get on average?
Probably around 6 hours.
What prevents you from getting more sleep the night before?
I stay up too late watching stupid television, or I've delayed my process for getting all my stuff together the night before because I'm watching a late night TV show. Or
what would you do if you had an alarm that was reminding you, hey, it's sleep time, stop watching the TV?
Repeat the question.
What would you do? Say if you had a reminder or an app on your phone that kind of showed you like, oh, hey, too much TV time, you're not gonna be able to get much sleep, you know, how do you feel about that?
I would use something like that, just sort of, especially, you know, if it was an annoying alarm sound that I had to turn off, that was like, okay, you know, you've hit your limit, it's time to get ready. Like,
I got a question for you about this. So you mentioned the idea of like the annoying sounds. Are you the type of person that responds more to a gentle annoyance, or would you like something that's more of a passive reminder? Which one would motivate you more? Like if you were watching TV, would you be more motivated by seeing a color change on your phone that lets you know green means you're still within the zone of having great sleep, yellow means you're within the borderline of having poor sleep, and then red is like you definitely need to go to bed because you're going to have really bad performance the next day? Or would you like a sound that triggers like you need to go now, like
I think I would be more motivated with the sound, and an annoying sound where I actually had to turn something off and be like, all right, it's time to move on to preparation to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Would that trigger for sleep be different than the trigger that you would prefer to wake up? Like, would you prefer a more gentle trigger to wake up? Or if let's say you got the night before, you got the annoyance sound that says to you, you need to go to sleep because you're within the green zone of having good sleep, and then you know you're going to get great sleep and wake up feeling good. Would it make a difference the next morning, even if you had great sleep, the trigger that you would choose to wake you up? Or would you
I don't
still
think
choose
so. I
sound?
think I choose the sound. I
I
would
see.
choose sound. I think I would be more motivated if it were more of an annoying alarm warning sound, similar to the alarm in the morning, because again, I'm not a morning person, so that's why that gets me going. I mean, if it were a soft, gentle, pleasing sound, I'd work it into my dream and I'd just keep on sleeping, and then I'd be really late. So that's why it's annoying, and that's why I set 2 alarms if I have a really important meeting that I cannot
Yeah.
oversleep, because the phone makes it very easy
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
to shut that alarm off and not realize you've done so.
Mhm.
You mentioned something about.
So, and that means that when the
sorry.
other one goes off with the annoying honking beeping sound, I have to get up and go across the room to turn it off, and then I'm up. That's done, and that's like, yeah, I'm done.
From the time that you first or second snooze,
Mhm.
how much time, I think you mentioned that you check your messages or you check other stuff, but how much time do you spend usually between the first 2 hours when you wake up on the phone, just doing something with the phone? 10 minutes?
Yeah, that's hard to say. I mean, first thing in the morning, it's about 10 to 15 minutes, because I have like a Keurig coffee machine, brews 1 cup, so that's done in a minute. So while I'm doing that, while it's brewing, I'm checking, and then while I'm drinking my coffee, you know, I'm still checking messages or what's my schedule look like today, make sure I'm not overlooking something, just sort of reinforce this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing after work, just that it's in my mind and fresh. But it's more about what does that early morning look like for work? How does my day start? Is it in the car on the way to work because I have to take a call now? Or does it start as soon as I hit the door because I have a meeting? So that's how I start, and then I get ready. I don't pay attention to the phone unless it's ringing or something.
And all that is very passive in a way that you have to go and check how many meetings do you have, how many messages do you have. Just turn that around and it's more active, the phone or the telling you that, okay, you have 10 messages, you have 12 meetings in the day, and you have 2 critical tasks. Would that change something in your day?
What's your?
Yeah, no, I mean, are you asking if I would prefer
Yeah,
that?
if you would prefer.
Yes, I would prefer something more active than the passive. I think, again, I'm back to I'm not a morning person. That's not my best time of the day when I first get up, which is why I start out with the coffee. So having something like notifying me, you
Would be
know,
annoying too.
might not be the most pleasant for me.
Okay. How about visually? Say if it had to, instead of there are options that you're reading the news, for example, right? Or you say it projected, it's somewhere, kind of like scrolling of the news. Would that's something that would be less annoying per se, or
no, I think, I mean, if we're still talking about early morning, I think that might annoy me. Maybe once I was in my car on the way to work, having more of an active alerts telling me, because, I wouldn't be able to read them while I'm driving, unless I had Jake's little device from Chindogu. But, I mean, that might be a good time, because that's a
so now you're
inactive time usually in my car, unless I'm on a conference call on the way to work. It's an inactive time where I could sort of accept and digest the information of, you have a meeting with this person at 9, you have availability at noon, you have 10 emails, urgent emails or something like that. I think while I'm in the car would be
What do you have?
fine, but I have an iPhone 5.
Okay.
Do you use Siri on it?
I hate Siri.
Okay, why?
It's never right.
Okay.
I don't think she picks up my southern accent very well.
What do you ask Siri to do?
I don't, not much these days. I
Okay.
really don't
What
use
would you
Siri
like
very
Siri
much.
to do if you were to?
I mean, the problem with Siri is because I'm asking her something and it never shows up correctly. I mean, if it's already programmed where Siri can talk to me on the way to work and she's telling me these things that are lined up, I'd be fine with it. But when I have to ask her something, it doesn't work.
Okay.
But to her defense, neither does my one-touch Bluetooth in my car when I ask her something, particularly around navigation, so we get in arguments.
What's your pastime? Like outside work, what do you do? Like, do you
Like hobbies and
Yeah,
things
hobbies, yeah.
outside of school?
Yeah, outside of school, yeah.
I go to the gym. I like to go out to restaurants, meet up with friends for dinner or drinks. Very closely knit family. I don't have kids or a spouse, but I have a lot of immediate family in the vicinity, so I spend a lot of time with them. Occasionally go to movies, go to a lot of concerts. I do like to go to live music.
Do you plan those concerts in advance?
Yes, I do.
And do you have your calendar up to date?
Yes, I do.
How many events do you have on your calendar as of now?
For concerts?
Yeah, for the next 2 months or so.
It's kind of hard to tell you. Probably between now and the end of March, I probably have 5.
5, okay, pretty good. Yeah.
But those, do you have to go actively searching for them, or do you get any suggestions?
Some yes, I get suggestions from Bands in Town app. I'm also a season ticket holder at the DPAC. So I get notifications of pre-sales, who's coming, in email. So I usually respond to those if it's something I'm interested in.
I got a question. Can you answer these? So I'm just going to go down the list. I'm going to ask you a question about music, types of correction that you like, light, colors, and feeling. And you just tell me, I'm going to throw out these words, and you just tell me which one you prefer better.